It's FYF Sports, man. It's Lamont. We back with another podcast episode. Man, today we got to talk about the Golden State Warriors, man. The question is floating around out there. Is the Warriors dynasty over? Is it over? I mean, we got spoiled over the last 5-6 years, seeing one of the greatest teams of all time. Honestly, don't think they got enough appreciation for what they meant to the game of basketball, but now when we start seeing some of the biggest stars of the game, like Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Draymond, we see these guys finally start getting hit with the injury bug, and it's starting to wane on the roster, especially when these guys go down with season-ending injuries. The question comes out there, is the dynasty over? Can they continue their dominance? Can they get back to dominance? And that question is floating around out there. We're going to answer that question today. Before we get started with the video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to the video if you haven't done so already. The grind is on right now. 16K is here. All right, next goal, 20K. We got to get there some way, shape, or form. The only way it gets there, we're going to continue to post daily. We're going to continue to go live daily. Now, this coming week, we're not going to be able to go live as much. There's a lot going on with FYF Sports this week. But normally, I want you to make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because normally we're going live every day of the week at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. On weekends, maybe a little earlier, but generally it's going to be around the same time. But the only way you know when we go live is you got to subscribe. You got to hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date with everything that we put out. If you haven't done so already, make sure you check out our Facebook group, NBA GOAT Talk. All right, we got a lot of great conversations there. We also live stream there as well. We embed the YouTube video. So the same YouTube feed that you see on YouTube, if you want to join and you want to chop it up with a different fan base, with a more unique perspective, a little bit more freedom to say what you want without getting censored by YouTube, then you definitely want to join our Facebook group, NBA GOAT Talk. Again, NBA GOAT Talk. Look for the Facebook FYF Sports logo. There are a lot of fake NBA GOAT Talk groups. You want to join the FYF Sports Debates NBA GOAT Talk group on Facebook. But again, salute to everybody for helping this channel grow. We're going to continue to grind. And today we're going to be talking about the Golden State Warriors. We got to talk about this team right here because of what they've meant to basketball. They've meant a lot to basketball over the last 10 years. A lot. When we look at guys like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, completely changed basketball. Completely changed the way teams defend. Completely changed the style of play. Not just in the NBA, but even on the college level and the high school level as well. All right. They've shown that how spacing the floor and being able to make the three ball can make a team elite and unstoppable. They've done it in a different way. And so they've also shown you that you don't have to be a 7-foot giant to dominate. You don't have to be a 6'7" wing scorer, all right, to be elite in this league. You could be a 6'2" a point guard, all right, with elite range that can space the court, and you open up the floor for everybody. Draymond Green, a guy that that sand gets thrown around out there, getting it out the mud. Draymond Green is an undersized big, came into the NBA with really not great at any particular skill set, just known as a hard worker, just known as somebody who diligently tries to find a way to do whatever the team needs to win. And he's become elite in his role. Whatever the team needs, he can get it done. It's not the prettiest. He's not going to score 30 points, but he gets the job done. This is why this group has been champions. And now over the last season, Father Time is unstoppable. As Father Time wanes on, injuries come with that as well. And it's unfortunate, it's sad. We saw Steph Curry. He overcame all of those ankle injuries early on in his career, but then he goes down with a wrist injury. Draymond Green was dealing with a hip injury, an elbow injury, a knee injury, and a finger injury all last year. Was never really the same. He had a down season. Klay Thompson, as we know, in the NBA Finals went down with a torn ACL. Kevin Durant tore his Achilles in the finals. They just start dropping like flies. And as this season started, the hope was that the Golden State, after having one down season, the hope was that they can get back to that that dominant level. And they were primed to look that way after having the worst record in the NBA. They were able to secure the number 2 pick in the NBA draft. Drafted James Wiseman, filled a major need on that roster at the center spot, got one of the most promising big man prospects probably in the last 10 years, and they filled a big void. And then we get, right on draft night, we get just the sad news. Klay Thompson tears his Achilles in a workout in LA in an NBA run. Tears his Achilles. All right. And again, the big question there was, what are the Warriors going to do? Are they going to panic? Are they going to switch up all of their plans? Are they going to draft LaMelo Ball? Are they going to try to tank again to get back in the lottery? What is the plan there? But what we saw there, we saw immediately that was not in the Warriors' plan. Steve Kerr and this front office, they see something in this roster that nobody else sees except a few people who actually understand basketball. But before we chop it up on the Warriors, man, we're going to take it over here. I want you guys to get a glimpse on at least what guys like Kendrick Perkins and Stephen A. Smith, Max Kellerman. I want you guys to get a glimpse of what these guys think about this particular conversation right here. Is the Warriors dynasty over? Can these guys keep that run up? So we're gonna take it over here to our big boy here. We're gonna let you guys check out this clip from ESPN, and then we're gonna dive right back into this conversation because as this video premieres, I want you guys to be chopping it up in the chat. Let me know what you think about this. Do you guys think that the Warriors dynasty over? Do you think the roster changes that they've made are enough to put them back in contention? These are all questions that we're going to be answering or discussing as soon as this clip ends. But again, I want you guys just to get a different perspective from what some of the top basketball minds from ESPN think about this particular issue. Let's go ahead and get to the video.
These young guys this season, and then Klay comes back next season, which makes them even more deep and have more depth on the bench. The run is not over by any means. To me, with them adding Kelly Oubre, it extends it. So I'm looking at this Golden State team, and they at least have 4 or 5 years left at contending for a title once Klay get back. Just because Klay and Steph, who's the foundation, who's one of the best backcourts in NBA history, in my opinion, don't rely on athleticism. So with that being said, they could play this style for a long, long time.
I love the fact that you mentioned, Ron Adams, because Ron Adams, Max, is one of the most exceptional coaches this game has seen. He's definitely a lead on that defensive side of the ball. Mike Brown is nothing to sneeze at. He was a former head coach in the NBA in Cleveland and LA, but he's a hell of an assistant coach. And we just got to give love and respect to Steve Kerr because he's proven to be one of the elite coaches this game has ever seen. You take a team to 5 straight finals and you win 3 chips. You got to give respect where respect is due. And so now you look at the parts around them. And when you talk about adding a Kelly Oubre with or already having Andrew Wiggins, and then you top that off with Draymond Green's experience, because Draymond's a basketball savant. He needs to improve his 3-point shooting. He knows that. I certainly told him that. But if you look at how he plays the game, the mind that he has, knowing what to do and when to do it, he is a special, special brother in terms of just running a show, playing that point forward spot to some degree. And of course, there's Steph Curry. They've got pieces to be formidable enough, not only to make it to the postseason, particularly with the acquisition of Kelly Oubre, but they could potentially make some noise. They could scare somebody. They can knock somebody off. You just never know.
I keep hearing about how KD and Klay, and in this case Klay because we're talking about the Warriors, don't rely on athleticism, and therefore an Achilles injury may not be as devastating to them as to another player. That's an intuitive take. That feels right. But I think my conclusion may be counterintuitive. Maybe it doesn't feel right, but you got to think about it. When Dominique Wilkins came back, he developed a better shot, right? Because some of the athleticism, even though he had a very successful comeback in Perk, you think, well, Dominique Wilkins was a million years ago. No, he's a success story. He's one of the few. Dominique Wilkins came back from this more successfully than many athletes in recent times have, okay? I'm using him as a success story. But one of the reasons that he had success was he developed a better shot, right? Like, in other words, if you have a super athletic player who relies on their athletic ability in order to be great. If you take some of that ability away, there are things they can fall back on. Developing a shot, playing deep, whatever it may be, right? But if you're already a guy who shoots it better than anyone ever, who's very fundamentally sound, who relies on a lot of the things that the super athletes kind of evolve into eventually, once something is taken away from them, I don't think it's as easy for them to evolve into a new player that compensates for some of their lost athletic ability. And whatever you want to say about
So
Klay,
what are you saying? Are you saying the Warriors are finished?
I'm saying the Warriors may eventually get back, but the dynasty is over. You have to give credit to the GM, the coach, the owner, Steph Curry, Draymond.
How is it over if they may get back?
In the form of now Wiseman. It ain't going to be this year.
I'm asking a direct question. I'm not speaking. I'm asking a direct question. How is this over if you may get back? If you may get back, that means it's not over.
I brought up the analogy, Stephen A. Derek Jeter was on 4 out of 5 championship teams starting in 96 and ending in 2000. They won again in 2009. It wasn't the same dynasty. It was a new team. If Steph Curry ever wins another championship in Golden State, it will not resemble the same team, and it's going to be years from now. It ain't going to be this year or next year.
Always,
all right.
Max,
death, taxes, and Max has a Yankees analogy.
Kelly Oubre, come on. You're talking about like below.
Wow, definitely don't agree with that take by Mac Kellerman right there. I would not describe Kelly Oubre as a slightly below average starter. Definitely would not describe him as that. He's a dynamic young guy that can, have a breakout year at any time. I've just seen him kind of hindered. He was kind of hindered by the Washington Wizards. They didn't allow him to execute and play his game. He was having a great year with Phoenix last year. Some great games, even a 39-point outburst. And his season just kind of got hampered by that nagging knee injury. He looks to be fully recovered from that. So, in my opinion, and I just heard the take from these guys at ESPN and First Take, my opinion is that the Golden State Warriors will be back. When I look at the roster moves that they made, as soon as Klay Thompson went down, the one thing that I like is they stayed the course. They drafted what they needed, and they drafted the best player available, which was James Wiseman. Now, it's arguable that LaMelo Ball was the best player, but again, when you have such a glaring deficiency in your lineup, and you see a guy that's looked upon as a player that he could be a star on your team for the next 10 years, and it's almost guaranteed, you have to take Wiseman. You have to take Wiseman. He can do too much. He's too athletic. He's too big. He's shown too much promise. So drafting Wiseman, staying the course, was the one indication that Bob Myers and Steve Kerr said, we're going to stay the course. We understand that Klay Thompson went down, one of the best shooting guards of this decade, but we still have a great roster that we can build around. And what they immediately did was they went after, and they gave up a first round draft pick in 2021. They gave that pick up for Kelly Oubre. All they gave up was, they didn't have to give up any players, no cash considerations. They gave up a draft pick for Kelly Oubre. You're talking about a 6'7", lengthy, great defender, dynamic player. Again, he's not the shooter that Klay Thompson is, but he's a competitor. He's a fiery competitor that loves to go out there and play and get after it. So when you talk about going up against some of the best teams in the league, the Lakers, the Clippers, he's going to compete. He's going to bring it every night. He's not going to take no nights off. All right, and the only thing you really have to worry about is he fully recovered from that nagging knee injury, and it looks like he is. So I think bringing in a guy like Kelly Oubre, putting him in a dynamic offense like this, he's prone to have a breakout season. When we look at Andrew Wiggins has a newfound commitment to defense. He's already a 20-point per game scorer. He's shown that he can score with ease in this league. He doesn't need a lot of touches to get the job done. He's found he's found a new vigor for the game of basketball here in Golden State. I like Draymond. We know what Draymond's committed to getting back to the level of defensive dominance that he was at during the championship run. He knows last year was a down year, so we've seen what he's been working on in the offseason. Steph Curry, we there's no questions there. 2-time MVP. You know what Steph Curry's going to bring. You know exactly what he's going to bring on a night in and night out basis. So with James Wiseman, with Wiggins, with Kelly Oubre, Draymond Green, Steph Curry. You're talking about a starting five right there that's elite, that can match up against anybody in the NBA. And when we look to that bench, man, they still got Damian Lee, promising young guy. Eric Pascal, we've seen what he could do given minutes. He was great. A lot of teams wanted him. All right. I mean, they found a way to bolster. They found a way to bolster this lineup, bolster this bench through free agency. All right. They're looking to sign a guy like Marc Gasol. If they can get a veteran backup big, you still got Kevin Looney, who defensively is extremely underrated, was one of the best defenders on that Warrior team, even during their championship run. He just doesn't get credit for it, all right, because it's not flashy, it's ugly, it's similar to Draymond's style of play. It's just not pleasing to the eye, but he gets the job done. Now he's healthy as well. All right, you still got Jordan Poole, another young guy, which is what you want. You want youth. He can shoot the ball. All right, he's a solid playmaker. He's still learning though. I mean, you guys are building something down there, and I like the fact that bringing in Kelly Oubre, it costs the Golden State Warriors $80 million in luxury tax. $80 million in luxury tax. Why would Bob Myers and Steve Kerr go to the owner and say, look, getting Kelly Oubre is worth it because we can, like, they have to have convinced the owner that they could possibly win a championship with this roster if they did not believe in the addition of Kelly Oubre. Steve Kerr saw something. Steve Kerr's had a knack and an eye for talent and for winning. You have to trust this assessment if you're the owner, because he's done nothing but bring you championships his entire time since he's been there. So if Steve Kerr believes in his lineup, I have no choice but to believe in it. He's proven himself to be a great basketball mind. All right, he's already proven it. All right, he has an eye for talent. He has an eye for seeing things, and I like where Golden State is going. So do I think that they fell off? No, I definitely do not think this Golden State team has fell off. If anything, I think this injury has opened the door for them to make even more unique moves to this roster, because now that Klay's went down, they have a $9 million. They've just applied for a $9 million disabled player exception, which is probably going to get it approved. If they can get that, I mean, look at the potential players they could bring in. Maybe a Hassan Whiteside. All right, maybe a Hassan Whiteside, maybe a Marc Gasol to help groom a James Wiseman. I mean, look at the types of players you can bring in. I mean, yes, they missed out on the Serge Ibaka, which would have been a great addition, but still, that's not the end of the world. I mean, you look at this team, they're getting deeper. They have a load of talent. It's just about if they can make it mesh and work well on the court. And I think with a guy like Kelly Oubre, with the type of competitor that he is, if he completely buys into this system, the Warriors are gonna be a team that you're gonna have to really reckon with. All right, I feel that they're probably gonna fall between that 3 to 5 seed in the playoffs. I don't know if they can really secure a 1 or 2 seed. I mean, with the Rockets still getting stronger, with the Lakers and with the Clippers still pretty loaded, top heavy rosters. I don't know if they can get into that 1, 2, or 3, but I could definitely see them landing a seed between 4 and 7, which in the West, I think that 4 through 7 is going to be a really close race. I think it's going to be a really close race with teams like Portland. They've gotten worse. Teams, I think like Denver, I think they've gotten worse. I don't think they're as strong. I mean, there are teams that are not going to be as good. Maybe the Phoenix Suns have slightly risen. I think the Sacramento Kings will take a step ahead, although I don't know if they'll be a perennial contender in the West. But the West is going to look a little bit different. And the Golden State Warriors are there to make sure that, they're not going to be the same easy victory on a night in and night out basis that we saw last year. So again, you guys, I mean, you remember, research purposes only. Do research your game. See the moves inside of the moves. The Warriors don't make this move if they don't see something special with this roster. And I think they are building something special. I think the dynasty is still there. But again, when you bring in all these new players, you still have to make it work on the court. You still have to execute. And you're dealing with guys like, you gotta turn Andrew Wiggins and you gotta turn Kelly Oubre. You got to teach them the championship way. You got to show these guys how to win championships. They got to understand the sacrifices it takes, right? That means you may have to sacrifice offense and you may have to play a bit more defense. Your stats are going to suffer, but it's all going to be for the betterment of the team. All right, so my verdict on this team, my verdict is that these guys are going to be back in contention, maybe vying for any seed between 3 through 7. If they can luck up and get that 3 seed, I think that's an exceptional season, especially without Klay Thompson. And you have to understand, you still got Klay Thompson under contract for multiple years. You have Kelly Oubre under contract for multiple years. You got Draymond under a new contract. Steph Curry's good. I mean, you're gonna have these guys locked in for at least for the next 2 years. So you're not gonna have to worry about re-signing people next year. You still got your 2021 draft pick from Minnesota, which could potentially be a lottery pick if Minnesota doesn't pan out. I don't think Minnesota's gonna be the pushover that they haven't been in the past, but you never know with Minnesota. They've been perennial losers. So, I mean, I think they've set themselves up perfectly for the future. I love what they have over there. You guys stay in the comments, in the live chat. What do you think about this team? Let me know what you think about this team. I want to see your comments. I want you guys to really chime in. Hey, we're going to be doing, once the show gets back to normal, I told you this week is going to be a little different. We're not going to be doing our live streams this week because we have a lot of stuff that we have to take care of behind the scenes with FYF Sports. But make sure you guys hashtag. I want you to. All you have to do, I mean, we're going to do 100 as soon as the show gets. The next live stream is going to be Monday after the Thanksgiving week. I want you guys just to spam. Just spam up your favorite food for Thanksgiving. Just spam your favorite food up for Thanksgiving in the chat. That's going to give you an entry for the $100 Cash App giveaway. That's all you got to do. Just spam up your favorite food. But again, that's just our appreciation for you guys sticking around watching the whole video today. All right, so appreciate you guys for sticking around. It's FYF Sports. Man, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to the video if you haven't done so already. We're going to be grinding. All right, this week, dropping a lot of videos, dropping a lot of content. Part 3 to the mini-series is coming this week as well. Apologize for the delays. It's just about timing, just trying to give you guys a balance of content. I had to hold off on part 3 because, again, this channel is about sports debates. It's not about getting into the drama, but, again, part 3 is what you guys wanted to see. We're going to end it with part 3. It's not going to carry on after that, but because it's been so highly requested, we just definitely got to get it out there to you guys. Hey, but it's FYF Sports, man. It's been another great podcast episode. We'll be back with more news and updates soon. But until then, it's FYF Sports, and we out.